So when the live action of Parasyte dropped on Netflix, the first thing I thought was, good grief, this is either gonna be good or really bad. I had started watching the anime a few years ago, but I don't know why I stopped, but I could already tell from the anime that it was already a better story narratively than this thing. Not that the live action is problematic in and of itself, but it just feels very generic. Anyway, still wanted to give it a chance. So it starts off by saying that someone on Earth had a thought, you know, as all things begin, that with how much humans are poisoning the Earth, if their population was to suddenly be cut in half, would the pollution as well? I mean, that's a decent question, but I was left wondering who exactly was asking this question. So on the screen, some disgruntled guy is spending his entire life online, where they're like, bet you can't kill someone, and he's all like, bet I can, you watch me. I'm like that. The hell are you talking about? I am that dude, which is honestly surprisingly bizarre. Because speaking to people on the internet and taking a dare as to whether or not you can kill someone, call me crazy, just doesn't seem like sane behavior. So he says, wanna try me? And they're egging him on to do it and prove it.
Try me. Seriously, these bastards shit.
Validation? So everyone's at this rave, and I don't know what time period this is supposed to be set in, because what the hell is this supposed to be? What is that? Is it a camera? Is it a phone? And if so, what type? I wish we could see what it was, because it looks like one of those toys that you get for children. I guess people just roll different in Korea. Anyway, it's super fun. And there's a whole bunch of cephalopods around for some reason. I don't know why the theme is that, but that's what it is. While everyone's clubbing, these coronavirus-looking balls of blob fall from out of the sky and land on Earth, consequently hatching these weird needle nose hot dog things. The hot dog thing is very hungry and it's feeling in the mood, so it decides to crawl up someone's leg and assault them in their sleep.
What the fuck?
Does not look very pleasurable at all. I assume that he's dead, and when he goes out to the dance floor, I feel so bad for this girl because she's like, the frick is wrong with you, bro? Don't even think that's her boyfriend. It's just some random dude that was sleeping, and she's like, you're no fun. Like, dude, let him sleep. Then he opens up his head and kills her. Can you imagine if this happened to you? And then if you're at a party like that and you're glazed over with whatever narcotics or whatever people take when they go to parties to make the experience, I don't know, fire, I don't know. Never been to a rave, I've always wanted to be to one, but don't they like force things down your throat when you go in? Listen, if they don't, I don't know, I'm just assuming that's how it works, because I've heard like one story where someone was at a rave and someone stuffed something down their throat and then they were high for like most of it, but everybody was, and you were no, that was a movie. Anyways, she gets killed and a whole bunch of people get killed, and this scene is like something from out of Devilman Crybaby. This thing is just going around and killing every human it can find or touch, and so this sets the stage for Parasyte. Still don't know why it's called the Gray though, but I'm guessing we'll find out soon. This guy that was on the computer at the beginning of the show is unhinged, and he picks a fight with the cashier lady, threatening to kill everyone when he throws his little tantrum.
Handles the meat, so you'll need to go over
Why
there
can't you bitches just go and do it, huh? Huh? Why is this dumb bitch ordering out a customer?
Oh my lord, I am so sorry, but the only reason I even decided to grace myself with watching the English version is because I was super busy and had other things to do, but good lord, it is so bad that I cannot take it seriously. He's supposed to be a scary person, but the voice acting for this, good lord. I guess when your native language is Korean and you are used to speaking in a certain intonation in your language, you think it just translates over to everybody else's language, but it doesn't. Imagine if every Japanese person were to speak English and speak English in exactly the same way they speak Japanese. In Japanese, it sounds beautiful.
おい、クソ野郎。
ウィリアム、これは驚いたな。そうだ。今朝君の奥さんと美味しい朝食を食べたパンケーキだ。デレレリシャス。
You there, you cretin. Bet you didn't think I was gonna catch up to you, did ya? Now I wonder, what will you do now that you're faced with my power of 1,000 suns? Run away? I think not. Cry for your parents? Say your goodbyes.
そこのあなた、クレイトン。 あなたに追いつくとは思わなかったでしょ。あなたは今あなたは何をしますか。善人の息子を持つ私の力に直面している今逃げると思う。両親のために泣くのではなくさよならを言ってください。
Cashier lady gets off her shift, and as she is driving home, lo and behold, in this back road, she is followed by a car. Oh my word, bet you can't guess who it is. It's the crazy guy from before.
Butcher handles the meat, so you'll need to go
Why
over there
can't you
and...
bitches just go and do it, huh?
The terminally online loser who is, not surprisingly, very violent in real life.
Oh shit, I'm sorry.
Dude has some serious anger issues. I don't know how it started from him arguing with people online and then claiming he's gonna prove to them that he can kill someone while also failing to provide the proof that he's killed someone.
Come here, fucking bitch!
Anyway, after one-dimensional evil character performs his stabbing ensemble, the girl tries to get away and one of those needle-nose hot dog things ends up hatching beside our main cashier character while she's unconscious. It splits the bad guy into, like, halves, 2 equal halves, and not one tear was shed, because seriously, fuck that guy. After another passerby reports this to police, we are then introduced to the detective who is the other main character here, who apparently knows this woman that was attacked because her father used to clap her around as a kid, and he basically saved her life. However, even though this girl got stabbed a bunch, she only has the scars of her harrowing encounter with her assailant. I mean, the bad guy was found split in 2, and she was found with blood all over her clothes and stab holes through her garments. But all of those supposed stab wounds are just now old stab scars. And it's mysterious to all these other guys because they're like, these scars they're pretty old, even though they clearly are stab wounds. Getting a flashback of her mother not wanting to see her or something. Nobody's expecting her to have healed herself immediately after having been stabbed, but it's clear that she got hurt somehow, except she has no actual physical proof of her at the moment being severely injured. Nothing makes sense, and she doesn't remember much except that the guy followed her and she definitely got stabbed. Of course, we find out later that these aliens are body snatching humans and also feeding on them. They find their own kin and recruit them so they can survive together in large numbers. I'm so curious as to where these things came from, and if they're able to do this to humans so easily, that must mean that they can do it to other creatures from other planets as well. I mean, think about it. The very fact that they have this ability and need it to survive means that there's life on other planets. I don't know if the aliens went into the exosphere, arched their back, clenched themselves, and then just blasted their baby batter into the cosmos, hoping that it wouldn't land in a burning hot star. And how do they know how to speak the host language? What if the host is ethnically Korean but only knows English? Do the aliens speak English or Korean? Because that's the primary language around them. Chances are they would speak the host language because, I don't know, it'd be kind of suspicious if a body snatch person could suddenly speak a language they never could before.
If you hadn't been there to save me from my father, I wouldn't even be alive right now.
I gotta say, the girl's voice actor is the least annoying so far. Anyway, we're then introduced to a segment and a side story about Monkey Man, where this guy tries to kill a gang lord and fails spectacularly. We'll just call him Brother. So I'm not sure if he's supposed to be a hitman or something, but as per his call, his job is to lay low. So he goes back to his sister's house. The first thing I'm thinking of when I see this chick is, good lord, that is creepy as hell.
He scared me.
She scared all of us. I guess he can explain away her behavior because he's heard that she has some kind of tumor growing inside of her head, but still. This is usually what you see before the person's mouth opens all the way up and swallows you whole, or before you start hearing the laughing track of very creepy invisible children in your house.
Jenny mentioned you had like a tumor. She looked fine. Is Jenny around?
I like how he says, oh, you look fine for having a tumor in your brain, as though having a tumor in your brain would equate to you having tumors on the outside of your face or something. You know how many people have cancer and they don't even know they have cancer until it's too late? Oh, they have little interaction in the Korean, but the subtitles claim that the sister they're talking about has gone someplace far away, to which he responds, far away where? But in the English audio, it says, or the woman just says, oh, she's gone somewhere, which is pretty vague.
She has gone somewhere.
Where'd she go?
I would not know.
Creepy.
I don't know, man. The whole vibe just feels very off. And if one of my family members that I was close to was acting like this, I would get the hell out of the house because that's freaking weird. Either that or I would feel as though they don't want me there. Just by the way she's looking at him as though she wants to eat his freaking leather jacket and his underwear. And that's a no for me. I don't care that we're related by blood because right now you look like you want blood and it ain't gonna be mine. So I'm gonna dip.
What is she wearing?
Clothes? Anyway, he knows something's off, so he opens up a drawer and he finds a phone. I'm guessing it's his little sister's or bigger sister's. The other sister that the older one claimed went far away. He knows his sister never leaves the store unattended, and because his older sister is acting really shifty, he decides to do a little investigation. Looking at the mirror, he sees this church revival prayer meeting pamphlet with a 101 logo on it. So of course, we've got to lead with that logo, or at the very least, that venue.
Hey, I said I'd get us a hotel room nearby.
Let us go to my place.
Oh, yeah? Most girls would rather stay at a hotel, wouldn't they?
I do not. Only my place will do.
This woman is speaking like she's an Autobot. The Autobot woman leads this poor stupid fool back to the supposed venue of the church revival prayer meeting thing. And we know that's what it is because right above it is, once again, the logo graffitied with what looks like blood on the side of the building. We already know through her interaction that she's one of the aliens. And this dude is willing to risk it all even after seeing that she lives in what looks like a freaking crack house. I'm sorry. If I'm going into someone's house or whatever the hell this place is supposed to be, and I see it looking dingy as hell, I'm gonna be very suspicious. Then on top of that, you have plastic lining in the area, the same kind of plastic that Dexter, the serial killer, uses before chopping up his victims. Nah, I don't need box that badly. And the stupid thing is, neither does this guy because it looks like he has enough money to have options. So what exactly is it about this specific woman that's making him forget that people might want to rob him? Darwin Award much? Anyway, the rest of her alien friends pop up and cockblock them, or just him, and the guy gets the fright of his life.
Push over?
We could cut off his arms, unconscious, and tie him up.
You don't seem to be aware I'm an important man.
I guess you are. Did you forget that when you were crawling up to this dilapidated building? Like, you should know your options. You should know your class. Smile, you're on candid camera. But he is saved by this task force, which are essentially the show's version of the Men in Black to take down the aliens. The aliens are super stupid too, because the only way that people know for sure that they're aliens is when they open up their heads into spaghetti. So knowing that these humans are now in the area, why would you open up your head? Okay, I get the first one because she was in mid-chase, but the others, they know. Like, they all come out with their heads freaking open. Like, bro, where is the intelligence? So knowing that the humans are now in the area because you've seen your friend get blasted across the wall, why would you continue to attack by giving up your identity? Where's the sound for the person being knocked against the wall? That was so quiet. What is he made of, cotton? Let me switch back to the Korean. Maybe something's wrong with the English track. I mean, it's mildly better, but whatever. They're able to neutralize them, but one gets away. He hears one of his people in the back of a van, and then when he opens it, he sees it tied up, and then he's asking if this thing is one of them. I mean, obviously, these aliens are not really bright, are they? Recognizing that this thing is a prisoner, it's a bit too late as a psycho woman comes up behind him and starts shooting. She's not a psycho woman because she shoots him. She's just a psycho woman.
A prisoner of theirs.
Don't touch that. I got it first.
But the alien is at least smart, and after he is hit, he escapes before he's properly killed off, which is what the rest of them should have done. I mean, there are so few of them, yet they're taking risks as though they have the advantage of attrition. So the psycho detective woman wanted to catch another one alive, but unfortunately for her, that's not gonna work out right now. What's going on with her face? Either she's really, really tired, or there's a botched Botox shot. Never mind, whatever, it doesn't matter. So right now, the alien in the van is the only one they have alive because she claims that she could use more hunting dogs, which is why she wants to catch more. Apparently, Apparently, these aliens have been stocking up humans for food. Are they able to eat rotting flesh as well, or are these pickled mason-jarred humans well preserved? But we then learn that the 101 symbol is a marker for their pantry location.
Are you certain she is our kin?
So remember the old creepy lady is asking another alien on the phone if our main character cashier woman is actually a member of their species. Probably talking to the guy on the train who freaked her out. Them spaghetti heads need to stick together, so they try to recruit her. Cashier woman. Of course, brother dude is curious about what's going on, so naturally, like anyone would, he follows his big sis, because she's acting hella weird. The main cashier lady sees the character, same dude that she saw from the bus, and as anyone would, she freaks the hell out and tries to call the detective, and ends up booking it when this guy suddenly starts chasing after her, because that's the perfect way to recruit someone instead of just talking to them. Okay, this is super creepy. I would be so far from this region if someone was just doing that, staring at me like a freaking weirdo in the dark from across the street. This girl is always finding herself in these situations. Probably needs to rethink moving. Oh my god, I would freaking die. I would freaking die. So the big sister, older woman, and bus guy cut off her escape and are like, damn, you're really good at playing human. Like, you almost have us fooled for a second, but we could smell those fishy juices coming from off of you, so he knows you're one of us. Meanwhile, the main character is super confused and terrified, as any of us would be in the situation. So now the aliens are super confused as well, and they decide to test their theory and kill her just to see if they can. However, the alien side of her comes to life, and we see that when it does, there's a get out situation happening where it completely takes over her body.
Let us confirm her identity.
Fuck. Little brother's watching, he's like, oh man. I bet this is the last thing he expected to see. And okay, this isn't anime, so I mean, when it's anime, it looks so cool. But in the live action, I'm just left wondering, where is all this wind coming from to blow her hair around? Anyway, she's like, yeah, that was not very wise. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry. Well, you need to be with us, so come to the church revival prayer meeting thing where all the human organs are, and yeah, we expect to see you there. Kind of hilarious that they're using a church revival prayer meeting pamphlet, since it's kind of the whole evangelizing of the lost and blah, blah, blah. And it's so wholesome because the guy's like, you're always welcome if you are in fact one of us. I guess they don't have enemy tribes. You know, I hate it when these productions, they show people are terrified for their life and then they're not looking where they're going. When I used to play hide and seek from people, I was super careful where I'd be stepping because I know that if I make a sound, it could give me away. How are you sneaking away and not watching where you're going? I mean, it's not dark enough that you can't see what's on the ground. Like, there are even lights in the area. So how are you, bro? Look at this. Come on now.
Have you seen my dog? Mary! Mary!
Oh man, I was dying of laughter the first time I saw this because it's so pathetic, but it's so hilarious. I can't blame him because at least he tried something, but it's still hilarious because he's like, oh, have you seen my dog? But then it starts trying to call the dog. Meanwhile, the alien's looking at him like, really, bro? So the alien is not having it. And she's like, you look like you could be useful. So I need you to do something for me. And so this guy is responsible for telling our main character that there's an alien living inside of her and takes over her consciousness sometimes. Because that's something that you would hear from someone in the middle of the night after having a bad guy chase you in the dark. You black out, then you wake up to see another guy standing over you. Mind you, this is the same person now experiencing all of this that had earlier on been stabbed repeatedly by a previous dude that also attacked her in the dark. I swear the main character has the worst luck. Then, you know, her father on top of it was a monster to her, like when she was a kid. It's like, damn. In this one specific case, I could understand if she grows up having what would seem like an irrational fear of men.
Now pay attention to my instructions. If you do not do exactly as I command, I will be sure to hunt you down, understand?
I can already see a weird love triangle between these two, and the only reason I see it like that is because number one, I'm weird, and number two, there was already a story like this for some YA novel movie adaptation called Host. It's one of the most cringe-inducing things you'll ever watch, but it's an interesting concept, same as this, you know, except for in this movie, the aliens are supposed to be pacifists. But imagine your girlfriend now has an alien living inside of her, and because the alien shares her memories, the alien that's living inside of her starts having crushes on dudes too, but the dude she has a crush on on is another guy. Better than a wolf versus a freaking vampire.
Roaches!
After hearing what this guy says, and after he leaves main character, forcing her to think, yeah, don't really believe this dude, but I know something's wrong, she writes in her journal to ask if there's someone in her body. So she blacks out, and when she wakes up a few minutes later, she sees the horror that the alien has responded to her in her handwriting. That is so creepy, but my thing wouldn't be, wow, there's an alien living inside of me. It would be, holy shit, I think I have mental issues. Then again, there have been reports of all of these aliens. I mean, someone must have taken video at that club where the alien attacked all those people. And our main character sort of kind of remembers her body being taken over by something, so there's that along with the dude that tried to kill her being split in two, which she can't really explain, which is also impossible for her to do. Anyway, our chief detective, other main character, and many others are brought to a heavily armed facility where they all must be checked.
All right, hello, Namiya Station officers, we're glad you're here.
And that's where we once again meet the psycho woman. She shows everyone the video of what happened at the EDM festival, which I found kind of hilarious because remember I said that the theme seemed to be filled with cephalopods and many armed creatures, and then you have this thing with many arms coming out of its head killing people. Pretty sure that was a creative choice done on purpose. We also know that they call the show Parasyte Gray because, as seen here, the Gray is a special force unit, I guess designated to hunt down these things. So she shows the alien body, and my goodness, it looks so fake. Looks like it's not even really lying down on the platform or whatever. She explains that these things landed all over the world to take control of the host's brain, and takes control because it also feeds on the host's brain. I don't see that plan lasting very long, but oh well. So after she starts explaining to everyone in the room how these creatures work, behave, and operate their heads, which is very scary, we get cutbacks to our main character with the alien giving the lowdown on everything that went down before this woman was aware that this was happening, and why the human character still sort of has control of her body. The alien claims that it can control her for exactly 50 minutes a day. I don't know why it landed on that number, oddly specific. Apparently, she was the closest body still alive, and because the alien was busy healing all her injuries, it couldn't fully commandeer her brain. Now, I personally don't know why it wouldn't be able to do so once it recoups its energy, but whatever, that's what we're going with. So anyway, after Psycho Lady tells him that they can only take these things out by shooting them through the heart with something hefty like a shotgun, she then wheels out the captive alien who, plot twist, turns out to be her late husband, which makes everyone freak out.
Why keep that thing alive?
There's a feature that we discovered concerning these creatures. It seems they can use brainwaves to detect other parasites that are in proximity to them, as a kind of radar to detect if they're...
I've got to say, this whole presentation feels so off because the woman's face looks a lot more serious than her voice sounds.
They can use brainwaves to detect other parasites that are in proximity to them.
So for this reason, that's why the alien is telling our main character lady to stay away from the other aliens, which I don't see being the least bit achievable in the long run. But if the alien can't protect her, then they both die. So I'm guessing by this logic, the alien can't unsheath itself from a human once they've gone inside them. I mean, it's like you've made yourself pregnant inside a human and they have to carry you to term where you never get to choose another husk.
That just might turn out to lead us to their gathering spot. Understand?
Just hang on. Is it really alright to torment a person like that?
What was that?
Oh boy. Oh boy. First of all, this chief is very stupid because she just finished telling you what these things were. So clearly, they're no longer human. What was even the point of him bringing this up? And why does he have to be the one dumb person in the entire room to ask something like this? Unethical? These things' heads can split open like Venus flytraps, and you're talking about unethical? She's shown you video, and you've seen for yourself the result of what these things can do to human beings, and that's your one takeaway? Goodness gracious, I hate people like this. I mean, I get it, you have to have people interacting and stuff, but good lord, he's freaking daft. You see one lying before you on the table that is clearly no longer human, and you're still calling it human and asking if it's unethical, while these things are parasites and specifically going around and targeting other human beings to kill them.
If you think like that, for even 1 second... this will happen to you.
Ew. Then she starts like maniacally kind of laughing or whatever the hell she's doing. And, like she's freaking unhinged. And bro, you taking your ear off and giving it to the person is what convinced him, not the freaking cadaver of an alien with a spaghetti head lying on the table before him. Not the video of the mayhem of the scene of all those dead people having been cut to smithereens by the thing that attacked the people at the EDM with its freaking cabeza legs. Why does this person even hold office? And he's a chief too, which makes it worse. He doesn't have to worry about the aliens taking over his brain because he doesn't have one, clearly. I hate characters that are written to be so stupid on purpose for the point of additional exposition. It's such lazy writing. Now, if he was, let's say, the detective that had the relationship with the girl, and he was asking from the perspective of knowing that the girl he sees as a daughter might be an alien, maybe he suspects she is one, then I'd understand. Narratively, it would have made more sense for them to show him thinking about it by focusing on his face, then showing flashbacks of her healing her stab wounds, and the man being split open with them finding him like that. That would have made his remark or question make more sense, but they didn't do that. So it just makes this one come off looking stupid. I think that they should have done it with the other character, but I don't know. The whole thing just seems very lazy to me.
My husband is no longer here before you. He's been made into a monster, a plague that should be wiped off the face of the earth. Once transformed like this, they aren't really human. They're not human. Understand? Huh?
Oh my god. Seriously, baby girl, what the fuck? I think you need to take a leave of absence. Like, people that are working like this is usually the kind of behavior where somebody else, your superior, would be like, we need to sit down. First of all, give me your badge, give me your firearm. Why don't you go to like Ocho Rios or someplace and take a week off. Let's chill out for a second, because I would not trust this person working next to me. So now this poor girl has to contend with an alien living inside her, and while she's freaking out, at least she's got someone who'll fight for her, right? No need for guns unless, of course, some psycho tries stabbing you in the heart or gets close enough for a kill shot. Given that this alien only gets 50 minutes of energy to work with, how did it arrive at 50 minutes though? Did it test the limit? Did it ever try pushing past this? I mean, I suspect that they'll train it and stretch it further, but right now it's giving me some serious Moon Knight or Venom vibes. After watching the first episode, it's kind of cute, but feels very CW, and that's probably my fault because the English dub did not help. Even so, the story feels very generic compared to what I'd expect, and the anime version had more surrealism that made it work. Here though, the whole task force already knows about the parasites, and for me, it just kills the eerie, mysterious vibe. Everything feels so rushed, and there's no time to feel properly, like to connect with the characters. What bothers me about Parasyte, the Grey on Netflix, is how the task force kind of dominates the plot. The main character barely has a chance to build a bond with the alien living in her. They put too much emphasis on the cops, soldiers, and the task force, while the anime made the main character relatable like Venom. People adore Venom because it's so relatable. You get to experience everything from the main character's perspective as he struggles to navigate this wild new world while figuring out how to coexist with this bizarre alien living inside of him.
Most likely.
Oh, God.
That is why we are here. Cooperate, and you might just survive.
I hate to admit it, but even the host, the movie I mentioned before, pulls off this relatability way better, nailing character development and storytelling, and it's kind of hard for us to form any investment and relatability with the main character and the parasite that's now coexisting with her. They can't even really speak to each other in real time unless the host is unconscious or something. Like Venom, the anime shows the interaction happening all of the time. I also enjoyed that about the show Moon Knight, which was very entertaining even though the story was completely crazy, but I think narratively it handled that very well. And that way you readily get to see things from both characters' point of view living in the same body. This, for me, just feels like some weird amalgamation of some CSI show, which I never watched anyway, with Parasyte as a skin. And because I started off watching the anime, it feels like I'm missing so much substance watching the Netflix one. Of course, it's not so awful that I'd completely swear off watching more, but honestly, I'd rather stick to watching the anime at this point. That's just my brutally honest opinion. Maybe if I had started off with the anime, I wouldn't feel this way, but I did. And even if I hadn't, I don't know. I'm just not the type to dig these cookie cutter shows where the main focus is the cops and the detectives. I can't really relate to them, if I'm being perfectly honest. The only exception that I'll make is for shows like Ninja Kamui. The new anime I'm watching is totally badass. Why? Well, the fight scenes are epic. It's about ninjas, which I love, and the main character goddamn. Really helps when they're beautiful. I know, I'm shallow that way with my anime. I understand the thirst, and my husband makes fun of me for it. The anime is amazing, but every time the main character comes on screen, I have the biggest smile on my face, and my husband's like, can you relax? I mean, that's a compliment to the designers, but even in that show, the cop or the FBI agent and his partner are very interesting, and they feel like people and not just a one-size-fits-all stoic detective. Anyway, Parasyte the Great isn't necessarily bad, but it's just more of the same in my opinion. It's very hard-pressed to find a live action that is as good as the source material with either the anime, manga, or video game. I wouldn't say this is a bad adaptation, but it's definitely a forgettable one for me. But then again, that's just me. Back to the anime it is.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some